Okay, I can. We're solving quadratics by the square root method. So I want y'all to realize the square root method is just when you can take a square root of both sides. Okay, so it says anytime you put a square root on a number, you must remember to put a plus or minus on the in front of it. So that's something super, super important to remember. Okay, it says also always separate your solutions so that you can tell there are two solutions. So please, please, please separate your solutions. Okay, so we're going to get started. So if you notice here, we have just an x squared and just a number. Okay, the reason, so I want you to realize standard form we talked about yesterday is x squared plus x plus, ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, when you are missing this term, you can use the square root method. So when you're missing the one with just the x that doesn't have an exponent, that's when you can use the square root method. Lots of y'all online still don't have your cameras on, so come on. Okay, that's when you get to use the square root method. So if you look here, it's already set up. What's squared is alone, so that's your first step, is always to get whatever is squared alone. X squared is alone, and there's 24 on the other side. So we're going to go ahead, and we're just going to take the square root of both sides. Well, square root cancels squared, so on the left, all we have left is x. Now remember, when you take the square root of a number, you must remember to put a plus or minus. So I know that I'm going to have a plus or minus. And we need to figure out what 24 simplifies to. So 24, what goes into 24? So 2 and 12. Does 2 go into 12? And then 2 and 3. So prime, 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 prime. What do I have that I can take out? What are my pair? What do I have as a pair? I have a pair of 2. So I can take that 2 out. Do I have another pair? Huh? No. So what's left over goes back on the inside. What's 2 times 3? 6. So this is my final answer. But I have a positive and a negative, so we have to separate because that's two solutions. So we have negative 2 square root of 6 and positive 2 square root of 6. There's your answer. Okay. So if you look at the next one, are we missing the bx term? Yeah, we have the ax squared and we have the c, but we don't have the bx. So again, we can do this method. So what you're going to do is you need to get this x squared alone. The 2, is the 2 squared or just the x? Just the x, okay? So we need to get rid of everything on the left side of the equal sign but leave the x squared. So what do I need to move? Minus 40 on both sides. And I get 2x squared equals negative 40. So I still need to get my x squared alone. So what do I still need to get rid of? The 2. How do I get rid of that 2? Divide. So I get x squared equals negative 20. And now can I take the square root of both sides? Yes. So I'm going to do square root, square root. Square root cancels my squared, and I get x equals, well, this is a number, so I'm going to put a plus and a minus. It's also what kind of number? Negative. So that I needs to come out, and we're going to find our factors of 20. So what goes into 20? What goes into 10? And so we have a pair of 2 and a leftover 5. So it's going to be 2i square root of 5. And then again, it's two solutions. So we get negative 2i square root of 5 and positive 2i square root of 5. Any questions with that? A little bit on the next two, but not harder than that. Okay, so when you look at number 3, What is squared? Just the x plus 7. Is the 3 squared? No, so we need to get rid of the 3. How do I get rid of that 3? What's 54 divided by 3? Huh? 18? Now, what's squared is alone. Yes, there's more than just an x in there, but that's okay, because when I do square root, this cancels that, and I get x plus 7. Now, this is just a number, so I have to put a plus and a minus. What goes into 18? Huh? 9 and 2. And 9's a perfect square of 3 and 3, so that's my pair. And my leftovers is 2. But x is not alone, so that's not my solution yet. What do I need to move? The 7. Now, I'm going to tell you it's always easier just to keep it in front. So I get x equals negative 7 plus or minus 3 square root of 2. Now, one thing I want you to remember, I believe we talked about this a little bit yesterday, is we treat these square roots or radicals as a variable almost. Okay, because if I have 3x minus 7, can I combine those? No. So same thing with 3 radical 2 and negative 7. We cannot combine those because they're not alike. So in the end, y'all, my answer is just this separated. Negative 7 minus 3 square root of 2, negative 7 plus 3 square root of 2. Now, if I was accepting like ugly decimal answers, you could technically combine those in your calculator and it will give you some number with some ugly decimals. But we're not doing that. We're leaving them in the simplest form without fractions. Okay? Okay, last one. Okay, so what do I do here? I need to subtract 3 because what's squared is this, and that's not alone. So I need to subtract the 3 from both sides, and I get 2x minus 1 squared equals negative 3. What's squared is alone. There's no variables over here, so we can square root both sides. This cancels my squared, and I get 2x minus 1 equals, well, is 3 prime? Yeah, so that cannot simplify. But what do we have to take out? The negative, so I put a what in front? I. So this ends up being positive and negative I square root of 3. Now, one thing I want to push that I saw a lot yesterday is the I should not be under the house. It should be in front of it. Okay? So knowing that, we're going to solve this. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. And I get 2x equals 1 plus or minus I square root of 3. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Now, it's not worth separating here because nothing can simplify, right? 1 over 2 can't simplify. This is technically 1 I square root of 3, which 1 over 2 can't simplify. So nothing simplifies, so we can leave it in this big fraction. So 1 minus I square root of 3 over 2. 1 plus I square root of 3 over 2. That's it. That's today. And there's only 7 practice problems. Any questions?